guys? Dave Nerd 1, 2, and 2, it's discussion video day! Now yesterday I made a video about what I feel were the best field spells in this game. I thought the list came out really well, the video looks really good, but there's been some controversy in the comments below about my choices on the list. And in this video, I figured what we could do is go over why I made some of the choices I did, as well as talk about some of the biggest suggestions that were in the comments. Quick summary for those who didn't watch the video, although I'm not sure why you would be watching this without watching that one, is that at the beginning of the video, I made a point to say that field spells that are stuck, really stuck in one deck and can't really be used anywhere else would be counted less than cards that were more generic. Because it's really hard to say, objectively speaking wise, that if you have one card that's landlocked in one deck and one card that's landlocked in another deck, both decks do completely different things and the cards do completely different things. It's really hard to say which one is better because they both are only in the deck to make the deck function. Now here's the part that I probably should have elaborated a little better. If I'm going to include a card that is less than generic, its effects would need to somehow be so good that they would surpass the fact that it's landlocked to a deck. In comes the controversy! There are 4 cards that seem to be the biggest point of contention with the video. The 2 that I included, Cosmo Town and Fire King Island, and 2 that I seemingly excluded, Dragonic Diagram and Union Hangar. And like I said in this video, we were going to try to address some of the reasons why I picked what I did, didn't pick what I didn't, and why the people who think I should have picked the other 2 really aren't necessarily wrong. And I figured this would be a much more constructive, discussion-oriented video than what I could have done, something more like this. Union Hangar, more like domestic partnership hangar. Dragonic Diagram, I got a diagram for you, scrub. As much as I think that'd be funny, it's not very constructive. No, instead we're gonna sit down and actually really look at what I was talking about. The best way to start this would be to basically break this thing up into 2 categories. The Union Hangar Cosmo Town group and the Dragonic Diagram Fire King Island group. Mostly because these 2 are pretty much landlocked in the decks they're in, and they're arguably really good in the decks they're for, as well as pretty much make the mechanics of these 2 decks work, but aren't very generic, thus breaking the rules that I established at the beginning of the video. And these 2, they destroy crap in the hands. They're very similar. It makes sense to group these 2 together as well. The 2 non-generics! Basically, my thought process with this one was, and I did consider both Dragonic and Union Hangar for the record, is that Cosmo Town is an exceptionally good card. Not only does it enable Cosmos to do Cosmo things by adding them back from the banish pile to the hand, it also searches Cosmos when it's sent to the graveyard, including a copy of itself, which is something that most cards don't do and is inherently a very powerful ability, meaning that if your opponent wastes destruction on it, you can always just get that card back. And because it's a field spell with no continuous effect, it's not like they're turning something off to do that. Thus kind of building in its own self-protection, because why would you ever want to amnesty Cosmo Town? I don't know. But the biggest thing with Cosmo Town was its mulligan ability. Now, is it stuck in Cosmos just like Union Hangar is stuck in ABCs? Absolutely. Neither of these are techable in anything. However, that mulligan effect is really strong. In my opinion, it didn't seem to really much matter that it was stuck in Cosmos, to simply in giving any deck, regardless of what it was, the ability to shuffle unwanted cards in the hand and then draw the same amount of cards without losing any advantage is fantastic. Most decks in this game would love to have that ability, and pretty much none of them do. It's perfect for Cosmos when basically it's almost like it's been 2 decks shoved into one, a low-level psychic deck and a high-level machine deck, and you need a combination of the 2 in order to play. It makes sense to give them this mulligan magical mallet effect. But the fact that it is even an effect at all, ignoring its landlockedness, is extremely powerful. Distilling down Union Hangar, however, it's not as fantastic. Yes, it's a very good card, and it's almost required to play ABCs, if not completely required to play ABCs. However, it lets you search Union cards, okay? But this is really pretty much hinging on the fact that Dragon Buster is just a really good card. If he didn't exist, Union Hangar wouldn't be doing anything crazy on its own. Hence why I picked Cosmo Town over Union Hangar. But in the end, they're both really good, and they're both really stuck in the deck that's playing them, so it could go either way. The next card I decided to exclude was Dragonic Diagram. I included Fire King Island over it instead. Why did I do that? Well, at the surface, they're both extremely similar cards. You destroy cards in your hand or on your field in order to search their respective archetypes. Whoop-de-fucking-do. The deck that I cited that's really good with Fire King Island was Cosmos, which you could conceivably use both in. And some people actually cited the fact that Fire King Island's self-nuking ability makes it worse than Dragonic Diagram. However, I would contend that in Cosmos might be the superior choice because nuking your own board isn't necessarily a bad thing, and if done at the right time, it actually lets you extend your plays even further and get more cards and search more cards and get more effects off because you just want to blow your stuff up more than once. Granted, you could search a True King and do the same thing, but I digress. It really comes down to player preference. They really kind of do the same thing in the deck that we're talking about, but I felt that Fire King Island might have the edge simply because it's, at worst, a 2-card commitment. The Fire King Island and the Little Chicken. And you don't really need to play any more than that. With True Kings, you might want to play more cards, and it would take up more of the deck, and I found that Cosmos tend not to work very well with the more crap you shove in them, so a very, very small 2-card engine is perfect. Basically, it comes down to player preference, and it really could have been either one of these guys. Anyway, guys, this was going to be a quick one to kind of discuss some of the issues that people had with the list, as well as kind of get some more discussion going, because I kind of like that more than just talking at people. I like to know what you guys are thinking, and I like to hear what you guys have to say, because that's kind of why I even do any of this stuff. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and kind of let's keep this going. It's really interesting. I'm glad to know what you guys think. As well as remember, guys, if you don't troll the meta, who will? I will see you guys next time.
Wait just a moment. I can see you were about to click the subscribe button. Was I right? Tell me I was right. I was right, right? My Millennium Eye lets me see everything, including these other videos by Davy Boy. Don't be a stranger. You will always be welcome in my Toon World.